안녕하세요.
I'm Magistrate.
I'm Ariel.
And we're
Soju for two.
Okay, so next we're going to be a watching now of Arang and the Magistrate,
Yes.
which is a brand new drama with a lot of anticipation, and this is why I know right away had really good viewing right away. So we'll let you know what's going on with it.
Okay, so the main cast. So we have Lee Jun-ki plays Ono, Shimina plays Arang, Yeon Woo-jin plays Yawol. I'm going to skip down to the Heavenly Grandfather. Yoo Sung-ho plays the Heavenly Grandfather. And there's a bunch of others in here. We have a character, well, he was obviously, the Heavenly Grandfather was in Operation Proposal. Yeah. We have another one from Okjako Brothers.
This is a very supernatural drama, like right off the bat. And what's kind of my issue before I started watching it was I was like, okay, she's dead. Like, what kind of love story can we have with someone who's dead? But now after watching it, I'm like converted.
Wait, Marsh.
Obviously.
Did you watch Twilight?
Don't talk about that.
It's a different type of
death. Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay.
No, so right away I was kind of like a little concerned about what this would be like, but I really think this was pleasantly surprising, and I see why it has such high viewership. Yeah. So the characters are obviously amazing. I think the male lead, have we seen him in something?
We saw him in Ildame.
Okay, like, I kind of
we never reviewed that
of a character for us, but in this, I feel like he's gonna be amazing. Yeah. Like, I right away kind of reminded me of Sung Kyun Kwan. What's his name? The guy from Penny Pinchers.
Oh yeah,
the lead in, I think. Yeah, the lead in Penny Pinchers, things like that. He kind of reminds me of that kind of character. He sees dead people, which is a phrase we know about in the U.S. and and he's looking for his mother, and then he happens to meet this ghost who's having a sort of interesting time of fighting off.
And she's a little pretty.
She's a little pretty, and she's fighting off a lot of like what do they keep calling them?
Oh, ghost catchers.
Ghost catchers or Grim Reapers or something like that in our tradition, and it's sort of really interesting because it's so supernatural, but in a usable way.
It's really cool about it though is also like you're learning a lot about like sort of the culture. Like we've seen ancestor worship a lot, like in things with but now you have to see why they do it, like the beliefs they have,
and like the notion of like leaving just throwing scraps out for the dead, and it's like so first come first serve, and that they can eat food, but food doesn't really fill them up, and they need the spiritual.
It's a really interesting take, and
and that I feel like is so cultural and really interesting.
We love learning things
side
like that.
stuff, right?
Okay, so chemistry. So clearly the leads are awesome. Right,
they've already have like a lot of tension.
Yeah,
right away.
Oh, we had a bed scene.
Yep.
Not really,
but we had measurements, which was definitely heated. And I think like now he realized at the end of 2, he kind of starts to see that he has like a little bit of feelings for her, but obviously isn't admitting them at all. Right? He's like, oh, my heart's beating. Or whatever, so.
And then like she has these really cool tattoos too that are awesome.
That seem to be clearly a sign of being a ghost. And it's really. I think this is going to be one of those dramas where it's all going to unravel in an interesting way. Yeah. And it's going to feel very much like maybe a fairy tale story or something like that.
It already has that feeling. Like every time they go to like the heavens, it kind of has that like sort of ethereal.
And like so when she's being chased, the filming is really interesting in this. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Okay,
so love triangle.
Yes.
Obviously, so she has no. Shin Min-ah's character has no recollection of her human life, but she was engaged to this like rich kid who obviously is very mysterious and clearly something supernatural.
Because he has the same sort of ring as the Heavenly Grandfather.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But that was her fiance, but she had no memory of him. And then obviously we're going to have the love triangle. So it's be interesting to see what happens with that, seeing as he's a ghost. Maybe it'll be like Twilight.
I think it's going to be a little bit like Twilight. Let's see. So mistaken identity, misunderstanding.
Well,
so clearly
know her
identity is a big thing here. We'll find out. Her identity is
I feel like there's going to be a lot of misunderstandings, too. I mean, you're dealing with ghosts and supernatural stuff, so we'll see what happens.
Yes. Bad guy turned good. I think the lead might be kind of a jerk. I mean, we'll see about
I feel like he's colder, and we'll see what happens. But obviously, the second male lead, he seems very, like, he's definitely cold. I mean, he pulled a knife on a Yisang, and, like, it was a little vicious. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yes. Okay, so,
piggyback ride. Yes, he already gave her a piggyback ride.
There's also, like, actual... like on a horse riding, which is awesome.
Dramatic. I wonder how they did that. She must have been on like.
Oh, like how she must have been on wires when he pulls her up on.
That looks really pretty. How they did that.
That was beautiful. Also, the way they like shoot throwing the cherry blossoms and stuff, it's really cool.
Cherry blossom daggers.
Yeah, they're vicious cherry blossoms.
So kisses
and red beans too.
Oh, yeah. Kisses. So the end of 2 is like a maybe kiss. I think it's a dream, so that's like my guess of that. Because he like wakes up and she's like, the one thing I regret being a Arang, which is like a maiden, is that I never had a kiss, and it's like, dream.
Well, apparently, yeah. Also, he can touch her, so he can kiss her. So that potential's there, guys. Fashion. Okay, so before we talk about fashion, we talk about makeup.
Yeah.
So in order to differentiate between ghosts and humans, they use white makeup.
And that's really the only difference. It's really just like bleaching out the lips.
Yeah.
And then pretty much everything else.
Now, Shin Min-ah has like no white makeup on.
Yeah.
So everyone else kind of looks weird.
Because they look very, like, ashen.
Yeah.
Where she just looks pale, which I'm guessing she is pale, so that's why she looks that way. When I mean pale, I just mean like us pale.
Yeah.
And then, like, just imagine us with, like, muted beige lips. I mean, that's kind of like the dead look.
Yeah.
But yeah, on dark skin, it looks a little weird.
It looks like it's a little too much. I think especially the one chasing her,
he has a lot of ashen makeup.
Really, really weird. I don't think it needs to be that white. So that's like my only criticism of the show so far.
Yeah, I just think like take their lips and put concealer on them, and then we'd have good ghosts.
It'd be fine, just like that.
Non-creepy ghosts.
Yeah, fashion, kind of not memorable. It's just like Joseon fashion.
I mean, yeah, it's very like historical kind of clothing, and it's interesting to see that. I can't wait to see Shin Min-ah in other. When she gets more clothing to see what they put her in. Because I am excited to see her in period piece. I mean, she's so beautiful. So.
Yeah, and it has an edge of that Gumyo sort of, like, feeling to it.
She's honestly funny. And I think that's the thing. Like, when you see her act, you see, like, her sort of attitude. And obviously her humor, you know, just comes out.
And the two of them have a really, like, they're really funny together.
They do. They have a good chemistry.
It's going to be a great show. Music.
No.
Not really yet. So, okay, let's just say that we are loving this show. Yeah. It might have been the top of our list of the new ones.
I mean, it's really interesting, and this was the one I'm probably least excited about.
Hana Kimi.
Or To the Beautiful You.
I'm sorry, To the Beautiful You, yeah.
Honestly, this one is really hard for me to, like, right away, I didn't want to like it, and it really proved me wrong. So, I'm really excited to see this one. I'm really happy.
Watch it, guys.
Thanks,
bye.
Bye.